Hey everybody, this is Bruce with Habowskistudio, and today I'm going to be working on enlarging a plein air painting that I did recently. I don't usually do that. I usually just leave them as their own work of art, but I thought I'd start experimenting with that. And I'm going to be taking this one that I did recently. I'm sure you've seen the video. And what I've done is I've taken some acetate, just a clear plastic. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like the transparency film, just a bit thinner. And I keep a big sheet marked out with squares on it with a Sharpie. And in this case, because I want the composition to be dead on, pretty much, I'm going to use this to grid up to this canvas here. What I'm going to use is some oil sticks that I purchased recently online, a little sample set. I got the idea from a plein air group that I painted with last month in New Hampshire, and this one lady was using oil sticks, and I thought, that's a pretty cool idea. So I thought with my drawing style that I would use these to sketch in the composition, rough in some shapes, and then I'll take a brush with some turpentine to basically create a wash and see what happens. First, I'm just going to work on putting a grid onto the 18 by 24 canvas, which is proportionate to my 9 by 12. I'm enlarging it twice. So I'll get back to you. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe and check me out on Facebook, follow my page, and all that good stuff on my website, which I'll have posted in the video. All right, let's get started. Okay, as you can see, I have the grid put in place here. So here's all that blocked in. I used a vine charcoal just to give me some basic lines. I don't need anything perfect. This is going to suffice to get the basic shapes of my composition in. Again, just simple vine charcoal. Now what I'm going to do is open up the oil sticks. Alright, because of the dark with the black charcoal sketch of the grid, I'm going to use a blue to sketch in. It's a typical transferring from a grid. I'm finding key elements in the paint in this painting that I want to transfer. So, like starting with the house, I'll transfer over. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's pretty much the corner of the house in the middle of that square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty much in the middle there. And it's 1, 2, 3 up is the bottom of the house. 1, 2, 3 up. So that's how you arrive. Now I'm going to get basic shapes of the house. 1 square over is where the side of the house is here. And that's all I'm going to be doing as I transfer this painting. And this part of the house, the L, I guess you would call it, is almost half into the second square there. So we'll do this. Once I get these major shapes, I really don't technically need the rest of the grid lines because it's really just trees and sky and stuff like that. And now I'm going to go down to the hay bales here, and I'm going to shift them over because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're almost like in the center. I think I'm going to move them just a bit and maybe start them over closer to, see how this is right in almost a third in. I'm going over a bit. So it's just a matter of approximating the same shapes going on. So I can, rather than keep going to each square, you can just find key elements like where it starts to end. That's basically a straight line. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 up. Here's the mark. And you can see how that works there. Now I can connect the 2 points. You can be as geometric as you want at this point, like if you want a real straight line, and then as you progress in the painting, you can soften things up and create more natural. Let's get the house here. And this is the time too when I might change a color of an element, potentially, not always. Want to get key elements in, like the power pole, it's 2 up. Looks like it's going to be right there. 1, 2, 3.5 in. 1, 2, 3.5. So you just keep breaking that down like that. When I see that. Now I'll go ahead and put in this pole. Go ahead and do some known points. I got the road over here. 1, 2 in is a very convenient point. But I'm trying to get a little line rhythm in going on too. So now the end of the road is approximately right there. Covers a little of this corner right here. So far I'm kind of liking the feel. Now of course I haven't really applied the paint and really mixed like you see on some demonstrations with oil sticks. Not really my intent in the first time here. So we got this power pole, 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5. There's the bottom of the pole. And it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This may seem a little too technical for some artists, but trust me, if you want, like, I always like a sense of scale, distance, accuracy in shapes and that sort of thing when I paint. So if something is wonky at this stage, then no matter how well you paint it later on or how excited you get about the paint application, unless it's your intention to exaggerate shapes and such, you're going to be really disappointed. And now at a certain point too, I don't have to keep counting over. I only did for certain key elements. Now I can approximate within confines of known elements like the hay bales and so on with the house, that sort of thing. I think what's going to facilitate making this interesting is when I get these little almost cross-hatching. It's kind of like I'm going to be drawing with oil paint, cross-hatching my lines like you might use color pencils for, or pastels, that sort of thing. And then when I wet it with the turpentine, it's going to be interesting to see how the colors melt together. Pretty much like the composition of the background of the trees that I created in the first version here. Some parts I press harder on the oil stick. Using shadow lines to suggest movement, undulations in the land. We're going to put another shape over here to give a reason for a shadow over here. Of course, we got the roof shadow. A little kind of a bush by the house here. Moved it over a bit and broke the plane there. That's a nice effect. What I'm going to do is just brush it off with a kind of a painter's brush, nice soft. Get some of that charcoal out of there. You'll still have a dusting, but you'll get most of the effect of the dark lines out of your vision there, so it's not going to mess with your visual. Just going to put in a suggestion of the movement of the sky. Nothing major. Not trying for heavy duty. Just mainly because I'm not sure what to expect. Right now I'm just kind of getting some yellow, not going too heavy-handed. Getting some yellow where I know some basic yellow light tones will be. It can go through a severe ugly stage when we're painting. And you can see, like, for little details you don't want to lose, like this power pole, I don't want to lose track of that. I can reiterate that a little harder. Try to give a warm effect. So it's like a little darker tree kind of behind this tree here. Trying to somewhat follow the lines of the tree. Don't have to. Just trying something in the beginning stages, because why not? Now, I got my black. Pressing a little harder than I have been. Get a layer on there. No idea how this is going to pan out. Got my blue. And because I kind of want a blue sky, I'm not going too crazy because I'm not sure what kind of layer I'm going to have. And in this sketchy stage, you know, I did write the palette on the back here of what I use for colors. And I might adhere to that later on in the painting process. But for now, I'm not paying too much attention to it. And you can see how you do get some previous color on there. I'm going to experiment with just lightly going over a paper towel to get that off. See what happens. Works fairly well. And I'm going to go ahead and get a layer of white in the shadow of the house here and see what happens when I get the blue in here. Going back over these lines of the blue, a little more heavy-handed. You can only do this so much before you have to peel off some more of the skin. But now we're going to get into some brush work and see what happens.